This is the iSpring WGB32B whole house water filter. And my first reaction was simple. This thing is big, and it means business. It looks and feels like actual utility room equipment, not a countertop gadget. The three 20-inch canisters hang off a steel bracket, and once the housings fill with water, the whole assembly gets heavy. I mounted it on a 3/4-inch plywood backer that's lag-bolted into studs because regular drywall would never cut it. Dimensions are roughly 24.25 by 7.75 by 27.75 inches, and it weighs about 45 pounds dry, far more when wet, so planning the wall support was my first real decision. From my experience, the installation is doable if you're comfortable cutting into the main line and making clean, leak-free connections. I used 1-inch NPT fittings, that's a standard tapered pipe thread, to match the inlet and outlet. I wrapped the male threads with about 12 turns of quality Teflon tape and added a light coat of pipe dope to fill the plastic thread gaps, then tightened carefully by hand, plus a single firm wrench turn. Over-tightening into plastic is a fast way to buy new parts, so I took it slow. I also built a 3-valve bypass loop, 1 valve on the inlet, 1 on the outlet, and a middle valve connecting them. That way, if I ever need to service the unit, I can send unfiltered water to the house without shutting everything down. Key features that actually mattered to me day to day: a 3-stage layout with a 5-micron sediment filter up front and 2 20-inch carbon block cartridges behind it, 1-inch ports that keep pressure high, and a rated capacity of up to 100,000 gallons. In simple terms, micron rating is the size of particles the filter can catch. At 5 microns, the first stage grabs sand, rust, and silt, so the carbon doesn't clog prematurely. The dual carbon blocks are made from coconut shell carbon, and they're dense, which helps remove chlorine, taste, and odor. Having 2 back-to-back boosts contact time. That's how long water stays in the media. And that's a big piece of why chlorine removal is so noticeable. GPM means gallons per minute, and this setup is rated up to 15 GPM, which is the difference between smooth mornings and fights over the shower. The first startup took a little patience. I isolated the water heater and opened the nearest bathtub cold tap to flush, because new carbon sheds a cloud of fine black dust. The water ran dark for a few minutes, then cleared. I kept it out of any fixtures with aerators to avoid clogging those tiny screens. Once that was done, the difference in smell and taste was immediate. The chlorine scent in hot showers disappeared. Coffee and tea stopped having that metallic edge. Even the ice tasted neutral. In my opinion, that alone would justify the install for anyone on chlorinated municipal water. I run a fairly busy household, and I paid close attention to pressure and flow. The 1-inch ports and large 20 by 4.5-inch cartridges keep pressure drop low. I added inexpensive pressure gauges on the inlet and outlet to watch the differential. New, I saw 1 to 2 psi difference. Over months, as the sediment filter collects debris, that number creeps up. Once I see about 10 to 15 psi difference, I swap the sediment filter. With typical city water and a family of 4 load, that ends up around every 4 to 6 months for sediment, and about a year for the carbon. The 100,000 gallon capacity feels realistic at those intervals. Swapping filters is not delicate work. It's real world, a bit messy, and that's fine. The canisters are full of water when you open them, so I put a towel and a bucket underneath and expect a little spill. I shut the inlet and outlet valves, open the bypass, and press the red pressure relief buttons on top to vent. Those buttons matter. Releasing trapped pressure keeps the housings from locking on the O-ring. I use the included wrench to crack the housings loose and finish by hand. I rinse the canisters and give them a quick wipe to keep any biofilm from forming over time. Before rethreading, I clean and lightly grease each O-ring with food-grade silicone. That piece is huge. Dry O-rings can grab and make the next change a fight. I hand tighten the sumps and give a tiny snug with the wrench. If you crank them down, you'll regret it later. On performance, the system does exactly what it claims. It heavily reduces sediment, taste, odor, and up to 99% chlorine. The water feels better on skin and hair because chlorine is a drying agent. I also noticed fewer scale spots than before in some places, but let me explain that. This is not a water softener. It won't remove dissolved minerals like calcium and magnesium. Those are TDS, or total dissolved solids. If you have hard water and want to stop limescale at the source, a softener belongs upstream. The good news is this filter preserves those minerals, so the water doesn't taste flat, and that's a plus for a lot of people. If you actually want TDS removal for drinking water, a kitchen RO unit is the way to go alongside this. I did have a couple of early concerns. The pressure relief buttons have a spring and seal, and if grip gets in there, they can weep a little. I haven't had a persistent drip, but I learned not to hammer the button. A gentle press is enough. I also put a water hammer arrestor on the line because sudden shutoffs can spike pressure and stress plastic housings. Placement matters too. I kept the unit indoors, away from sunlight and freezing. UV and cold can wreck plastics fast. This isn't a set and forget appliance. It's a workhorse, and it rewards a little attention. As for build quality, the housings are opaque polypropylene, which blocks light to discourage algae growth. The bracket is steel with a powder coat, and it's rigid enough if you mount it to something solid. The kit includes a wrench, and the cartridges arrive individually wrapped for freshness. Pull the plastic off before installing. Simple, but easy to forget when you're juggling tools. From my experience, flow during peak usage stays strong. I can run 2 showers, the dishwasher, and the washing machine without feeling like the house is breathing through a straw. That 15 GPM spec, the big canisters, and the 1-inch ports really do matter when a family piles on simultaneously. The system is rated to handle a year's worth of water for many homes, and that lines up with what I'm seeing. It's perfect for anyone on city water who's tired of chlorine smell and weird taste, wants cleaner water at every tap, and has the wall space to mount a serious PoE system. That just means point of entry, where the water enters the house. If you're on well water with bacteria concerns, you'll want to add UV disinfection. If you need lead removal, iSpring has a variant with a dedicated media for that. If you want the soft water feel, hair it with a softener. I'd recommend this for homeowners who are comfortable with advanced DIY or who plan to hire a plumber for a clean install. Add a bypass loop, use enough thread tape and paste on the NPT connections. Mount to something that won't flex, and keep silicone grease on hand for the O-rings. Do those things and you'll avoid the common headaches. In my opinion, the WGB32B is a straightforward, robust filtration platform that puts capacity and maintenance above flash. It takes up space, it's not light, and you'll get your hands wet when you change filters. The payoff is whole house water that smells clean, tastes neutral, and keeps good pressure even on busy mornings. I like that it doesn't waste water, and I appreciate that it preserves minerals, so the water still tastes like water. In conclusion, this system delivers exactly what I hoped. Reliable chlorine reduction, fresh taste, solid flow, and manageable maintenance. If you want a realistic whole house upgrade, and you're okay with a bit of hands-on care, it earns its spot in the utility room. Please check the comments section for detailed information about the iSpring Whole House Water Filter System. Thank you for watching.